Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're uncovering how an often overlooked market has quietly but completely transformed into the premier high-efficiency gateway to the European Union. Over 2 decades of watching export businesses scale across volatile corridors, one truth always emerges. The absolute most lucrative opportunities, well, they aren't where everyone is currently looking. Today, we're analyzing the Poland corridor, a trade route that is fundamentally rewriting the logistics playbook for 2026 and beyond. There's this quote I absolutely love, and it perfectly captures the state of global trade today. The smartest moves often hide in plain sight. While everyone else is exhausting themselves chasing congested legacy routes in Germany or dealing with all the headaches of direct trade with China, the smartest international traders are looking elsewhere. They are bypassing the bottlenecks entirely and heading straight for Central Europe. And honestly, the data backs this up. Just think about this number for a second. $350 billion. That's a B. That is the staggering scale of Poland's current export engine. Throw in an impressive 3.6% economic growth rate, which, by the way, consistently outpaces the broader EU average, and the picture becomes undeniable. If you aren't paying attention to an economic force of this sheer magnitude hiding in plain sight, you're quite literally leaving serious money on the table. So here is our tactical roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the hidden European gateway, what Poland makes and needs, the Gdansk logistics edge, the GCC profitable trade loop, mastering trade engineering, and finally, the 2026 opportunity window. Let's start with Section 1, the hidden EU gateway, accessing 450 million consumers. Right off the bat, we need to completely bust the outdated Apple exporter stereotype. The myth of Poland as a purely agrarian post-Soviet economy is decades out of date. Actually, scratch that, it's ancient history. The reality is that Poland is Europe's 2026 manufacturing powerhouse. It has become the absolute epicenter for nearshoring as Western European firms pull their production closer to home to avoid global supply chain shocks. So what does this actually mean for you? Simple. Once your goods clear Polish borders, you have unlocked a low-friction backdoor directly to over 450 million European Union consumers. Moving on to Section 2, Poland's trade, exports, and imports. This really illustrates Poland's industrial momentum. We're talking massive scale here. $56.6 billion in machinery, $46.6 billion in electrical components, and $43.2 billion in vehicles and auto parts. Major automotive OEMs have set up incredibly deep roots there. But beyond those top industrial categories, there's a massive hidden gold mine we have to talk about, an $18.7 billion furniture export industry. This is high-quality, European-certified furniture perfectly suited for the booming real estate and hospitality projects happening right now in the GCC. On the flip side, what is Poland actually buying? Well, their post-geopolitical drive to aggressively diversify away from legacy suppliers has created unprecedented demand. They are super hungry for reliable global partners, especially from the Gulf. They desperately need petroleum products and high-quality petrochemical derivatives, like bitumen. They're also importing exotic foods, dates, and nuts for a really rapidly expanding consumer base. Plus, as a nearshoring hub, their factories absolutely need tech intermediates and semiconductors. If you source or supply any of these, the door is wide open.
Let's look at Section 3, the Gdansk logistics edge, your Baltic superhighway.
The crucial point for any trader is how you actually move these goods, right? If you route through traditional mega hubs like Rotterdam or Hamburg, you're usually dealing with high congestion and delays stretching 48 to 72 hours, or honestly, sometimes way more. But with Gdansk, congestion is remarkably low. We're talking turnarounds often between just 24 and 48 hours. Routing bulk or container shipments through the Port of Gdansk's deep water terminals slashes your demurrage risks, those awful fees for delayed containers, and can quite literally save you thousands of dollars per container. And it's not just the port itself, it's what happens after your container hits the dock. Poland's infrastructure is specifically built for seamless multimodal connectivity. You've got these direct, robust road and rail links, including vital ties to the new Silk Road, that move your cargo swiftly to industrial clusters. Think Silesia for heavy machinery or Mazovia for high-tech components. This incredibly efficient inland network minimizes your last-mile costs and just gets your product to market so much faster than routing through Western Europe.
Okay, Section 4, the GCC profitable loop, re-exporting value.
This strategy right here is an absolute game changer. It's known as the profitable loop. Think about how efficient this is. You export high-demand Gulf energy derivatives or petrochemicals up into Poland. Then, instead of sending empty containers back, which is a massive drain on margins, right? You fill them right back up with premium Polish machinery, electronics, and that high-quality furniture we talked about, and send it all back to the GCC. You completely eliminate those empty container legs, maximize your margins on both ends of the trip, and you can even utilize Poland's special economic zones for tax-neutral storage along the way.
Next up, Section 5, Trade Engineering, a systematic approach.
Entering a high-standard market like the EU requires a tactical, step-by-step entry plan, what we call trade engineering. There are 6 specific steps here. First, map your intelligence using tools like Tendify to secure exact tariffs. Second, ensure absolute compliance with EU CE or REACH standards. Third, secure verified partnerships. Honestly, face-to-face trust at Polish trade fairs goes a very long way. Fourth, model your logistics via Gdansk. Fifth, ensure financial security with robust contracts and escrow. And finally, run pilot shipments to stress test the system. Let me give you a quick warning from the field. The most common failure point isn't lack of demand, it's underestimating documentation rigor. A missing certificate can literally trap your goods at the border, so follow these 6 steps meticulously to prevent border shock costs. Now, optimism is a great strategy, but realism is your shield. You are going to face friction points, but there are clear ways to neutralize them. For shifting EU regulations, use live checklists and local authorized reps. To fight currency and inflation volatility, move beyond simple FOB terms and utilize DAP or DDP Incoterms alongside price escalation formulas. To protect against geopolitical shocks, you've got to practice corridor diversification, having a backup route via Southern European ports. And to beat out the fierce local competition, don't just compete on price. Offer value-added services, like local warehousing, to make yourself completely indispensable. Finally, let's hit Section 6, the 2026 opportunity, future outlook. So why is the clock ticking on this? We're looking at 4 massive megatrends converging right now. First, the nearshoring supercycle is permanently shifting Western supply lines into Poland. Second, Poland's historic green transition is creating incredible, once-in-a-generation opportunities in energy arbitrage. Third, they're actively developing the CPK, which is Poland's new central communication hub integrating air, rail, and road, and that's going to totally cement their logistics dominance. And fourth, the rise of digital trade and AI compliance mandates is changing everything. The infrastructure is ready today, but make no mistake, the early entry premiums we are seeing right now will absolutely vanish by 2027 as the market saturates. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you going to keep treating Poland as just a side market? Or are you ready to recognize it as a strategic pillar for your global growth? The data is crystal clear, the corridor is wide open, and the demand is very, very real. It's time to leverage digital trade platforms like Tendify to automate your workflow, ensure flawless compliance, and firmly secure your spot in what is undeniably the most efficient and lucrative trade route of the late 2020s. Thanks for joining this Explain It.